What's up, guys? Donnie. Uh, wow. Tom Thibodeau is out. We still owe him some money. We owe him like 3 years, 60 million. Um, my thoughts. I'm not gonna lie. I think, and this might be a long video. In the end, I don't think that Tom Thibodeau was going anywhere until he lost the Eastern Conference Finals the way that he did. It's the way that Tibbs lost it that ultimately hurt him the most. If you look back in that, and it's the Indiana series the most. If you look back at that Indiana series, Game 1, you know what I'm saying, and then Game 6, those were the games that ultimately sealed his fate. Although this Knicks team generally doesn't speak much anymore, you don't hear much. Bridges has come out sometimes talking about rotation and shit. And you would have thought that he still had a lot of backing from Leon Rose in the front office and everybody. And I'm a little bit surprised by it, but to be honest, what I did know, and I felt this way after we were eliminated in Game 6 against Indiana, I felt that we were embarrassed on the defensive end. You know, I can't watch the game back because it's too tough to watch, but if you remember how many layups we gave up, you know, even over the course of the series, how many times the defense just wasn't ready, wasn't set, how many times we had missed assignments, and how many times we've had player-only meetings, and especially just not being focused at the start of games. It made you wonder, really what is being talked about by Tom Thibodeau to get these guys prepared and engaged. Because in all honesty, I feel like the Knicks should have made the NBA Finals. And I know that's a crazy step up from the second round. But if you win that first game, you're pretty much going to win the NBA. Well, you're pretty much going to go to the NBA Finals, to be honest. And in that Game 6, I don't know if it was energy or not, but they didn't have it anymore. So, really, in the conclusion, I think Tom Thibodeau, in the end, was his own worst enemy. He didn't really do himself any favors not playing other guys, especially against a coach whose whole mantra was to play everybody he could to make sure he can play the tempo that he wanted, and Tibbs wouldn't do that. So the contrasting styles highlighted maybe some of his weaknesses, dare I say, or just even ways of being stubborn when you are in a situation where you're playing to go to an NBA Finals in a year where the Eastern Conference is up for grabs. And of course, we've taken advantage by making it as far as we have. And here you had a situation against a coach that, you know, was a good coach in Rick Carlisle, but it wasn't like we couldn't beat them. And in the end, him being Tom Thibodeau, not really adjusting his minutes appropriately, you have to say that that's a decided factor. Even today, it came out that they're looking for more of a lenient coach. We're lucky this year that guys didn't get hurt, and you have to think that now is the time to get back there as soon as possible. You know, now the goal is the finals, right? That's the goal now. The goal is to make it to the NBA Finals. I say you got to improve every year. So if the last couple of years we were doing better, my goal for this year was Eastern Conference Finals, and we did that. So next year we got to make it to the finals. You know, we have a team of good players. We have Brunson, we have Bridges, we have Cat for now. We'll see what happens with that. You got OG Anunoby, you got Mitchell Robinson, you got Josh Hart, you got Deuce McBride, you got Kolek, you got Shamit. And, you know, some of those guys are not going to stay on the team, but I'm telling you, there was talent there that at times just felt, you know, even in the first game against Indiana, you just felt that Tibbs didn't use his bench properly. What is the point of having these guys sit on the bench and not play? You know, it's his biggest weakness, I think, and in the end, it cost them. Had the Knicks won that series, I don't think that Tibbs is going anywhere, but I think just looking back at some of the footage of those games, and I know they probably have, like I told you, I couldn't watch it back, but I'm sure that they have. your team is going nowhere if you're giving that many points up, just free layups, and it's a tough move. It's a strong move. It's a decisive move. It's something that, if you're going to do something like that, you got some big plans coming up. And the Knicks aren't playing around. The Knicks are not playing around. They're not playing around. It's not easy to get back into the promised land like that. And we got to make sure that we pick a coach this time that knows how to utilize the players. And hopefully some better talent comes in, because that wasn't all Tibbs' fault. I want to add that, a lot of the times that things happen with the players are also on the players themselves too, not just Tom Thibodeau. But in the end, he did play a big role in not playing the players as much as he could, because that was his decision. That wasn't anybody else's decision. And, yeah. You could have never told me. I didn't think they were really going to do it, but considering the facts, I thought that they would have ignored it, but maybe the result was so painful given the way it happened that we got eliminated, that they said, listen, we got to do something else here, because this guy is not going to be able to keep doing this to us as a team, and not having guys play when they should play, and just giving them some rest, just giving them rest in areas where the bench unit probably could have gotten hot. You had a guy like Shamit who's killing it at the end. Tyler Coley can hit some threes. There are other players worthy of making an impact, and how are those guys developing? What's the point of drafting guys if you don't play them? Those are questions for Tom Thibodeau. 5 years he's spent here, and he's made this organization relevant again. I get the sentiments, but we got to move on. We got to move on. If championship is the goal, the vacancy for the position is now officially open, and let's see what we can get in there. Anything is possible now. If that's the way it starts, and we're not even in the heart of summer yet, we're not in the heart of summer. You think the Knicks are going to try and get some good players in here that want to play for the New York Knicks and have a chance to compete for a championship, because that is the goal now. That's how high the bar is for this franchise. After these 5 years of building up, now is the time to see if we can really get back there. If we probably could, if you got 2-3 good players in there coming off the bench, get this Josh Hart situation figured out. And speaking of Josh Hart, now there's officially a lot of players. If your name is not Jalen Brunson, OG Anunoby, or Mitchell Robinson, anything's up for grabs. Promise you, because they're not playing around. If they're starting off like this with Tibbs, trust me, they ain't playing around. But let me know what you think in the comment section. It's your boy Don. Like, subscribe, enjoy these videos, and I'll see y'all next time, man. Peace. I'm out.